So first you've got the vocal line. And then you've got this part in the keyboards. And then there's these changes. And then somewhere in there we've got to get in some bass support as well. So the challenge is moving the registers around so that it all fits, because you can't have the two parts on top of each other when it's on the same instrument. So the vocal peak, and also the bass needs to really arrive, but somehow we still need the... So we're going to split it between the hands. The same thing in the part before, we needed some bass support, the tension building with the G sharps over and over again. And at the same time, you have to have the vocals. But you've also got the keyboard part that was originally up here. And it's really important here because it has this chromatic ascending line that's really, everything's just building to the end of this phrase here. So there's really nothing that you can leave out. So we're going to put the G sharp pedal in the left hand here, and the vocal line in the right. And then we're going to try to split the keyboard part between the two hands. Except for we also need to sustain these notes. So we're already kind of having two parts in one here. And we can hear them as two parts both because you can accent the notes and keep the other ones quieter. And by sustaining them so that we hear them as two separate lines. Otherwise, if you just play, you kind of lose what's so cool about that spot. So now that we have the two parts in the middle, plus the part up here in the vocals and the pedal and the bass here on the repeated G sharps, we have to figure out a way to fit all four of those things in at once and make them sound like music and not like they're all the same part. So it's sort of a collage of all the pieces that are there. Sometimes you leave stuff out, and sometimes you have to fit in as much as you can, and the texture gets a lot more dense for a minute. But the ebb and flow between the more simple and sparse and pure stuff versus the places where the texture is getting really thick is part of what makes the piece interesting and not be too static all the way through. I really want to hear that note sustain because the vocal line really comes home there. So maybe instead of crossing over and trying to catch this E with the pedal, maybe I'm going to grab it with my thumb instead so that I can hang on to that extra, quarter of a second. It might be the thing that really makes that part capture the the moment in the music. It still needs work, but at least the E isn't getting chopped off. Just needs some practice. So the arrangement in that spot's pretty much done.